Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be the first episode of the United States. Um, I realized since the 2020 version came out that I never played the country that I'm most comfortable with, which is the United States. So I'm going to begin this series, and I'll probably continue this series on until I feel as though I've done enough. With the Iran series, I'm still going to continue that, but there's only so much that I can do with that. Um, I pretty much got the country out of a recession and built up the economy. So, in this episode or this series, I'm going to be doing what I think the previous president would have done, some of his agenda, and just see how that works out and how it plays out with some of the other countries. Like, going to increase ties with Taiwan, obviously, and Japan and South Korea. May try to even branch off to Malaysia just as an ally against China. But I'm not going to be as aggressive as I was with the US versus China. And that was the 2019 version when I did that. So we're going to do that. We're going to put some agents in Ukraine to help push out the Russian backed rebels that's in that country. And then on our own continent, we're going to put some agents into Mexico to help push out the cartels. And there even may be a slight possibility right now of making Cuba the 51st state officially. Um, and the only way I could do that is through an invasion. So that may happen near the end of the series. But in the meantime, we're just going to try to increase our influence throughout the world and see how that plays out. So let's go ahead and start. So the first thing is going to change the investigation level, and we're going to make a reform out of this. Let's call this the Federal Tax Reform Act. So we're going to increase that. Um, so that's going to help get us out of our deficit. Because really, what is our deficit now? So we have a budgetary deficit of $1 trillion roughly. And let's see, company tax. Company tax, we're going to reduce that by 2% to increase growth. And what is our growth right now? 233. And inheritance tax, we're going to drop that down by 3%. And I'm going to drop this down to 23.7%. So we may come back and deal with the lower class, but the middle class is the largest bracket in the country. So that's the main thing we're concerned about. Industrial pollution, we're going to eliminate that for now. And tax on pornography, I'm going to raise that to 30%. And let's see, what else can we do? So I usually raise the tourist tax, but we want to increase tourism in the country. So I'm going to leave that alone. For tobacco, we're going to raise that by 2%. And tax on company turnover, we're going to make that 1%. Tax on redundancies, we're going to make that 0.2%. So as you can see, this is pretty extensive reform. And we're going to attach tax on gambling. So we can still later on. Now, I know the previous president wouldn't have taxed large fortunes, but that's what I'm going to do. So, again, this series is going to be sort of loosely based off of some of his policies and ideas, but I'm not going to touch that right now. And value added tax, I may add that as well if needed. So we're going to go ahead and step away from that. Let's go ahead and hit play. And let's go to health. Let's go to the legislation here. So tax exemptions for companies using retirement by capitalization. So instead of a partial exemption, so yes, we're going to go for re-election. We're going to go for total exemption, which is going to add $202 billion into our economy. Going to do that without a reform. And Parliament, we're going to authorize a referendum.
Undeniably, you have inside you the founding values of society.
All right, and let's go to immigration. So let's call this I'm gonna call this the Immigration Reform Bill. And let's see. So that's going to pass. So that's a more aggressive step. And we're going to go with another 930 for the wall. So that can be done in 4 months. So we're going to do that.
My fellow citizens, it is after intense reflection and multiple consultations that I decided to run for president. Once again, I ask you to grant me the honor of leading the destiny of our nation.
I must inform you that you can, at your leisure, consult a I must inform you.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is deal with our international agents. So I'm going to increase that to 350. I'm going to increase national agents to 46,000. I'm going to increase the agent training and fighting terrorism. Okay, it's 93 billion. That's a little more than what I want to spend. So that's 21 billion. So 27 billion into national security. And then, so we don't care about Argentina, Egypt, India, Indonesia, Nigeria. Not going to worry about North Korea yet. Not going to worry about Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Thailand, Venezuela, and Vietnam. So Mexico, I'm going to put 130 agents there. And that's going to be dismantle terrorist groups. And we're going to put the other portion in China. And we're going to do some industrial spying. Russia, just going to do political spying. Or actually, no. We'll do some industrial spying there. And Iran. We'll do industrial sabotage. In fact, no, we're going to do the meteor operation because I believe that goes after the nuclear power plants. And we're going to put our top guy in China. Now the terrorist groups, we're going to go after the Italian Mafia and the Russian Mafia. So now we're going to investigate in some, I mean, not investigate, but invest in some infrastructure. So let's invest in a highway from Los Angeles to Glendale.
You know full well that
Cancer may be.
I must inform you that we have removed certain.
So cybersecurity, that's part of our infrastructure, and let's hire more cyber analysts, and that's going to cost us 719 million. And cybersecurity, want to bump that up to silver. So that's going to cost us about 7.9 billion.
Our best coders are working around the clock. They will be working closely with manufacturers and national operators.
All right, now let's look at our debt here. So our budget actually went up some, but it's going to come back down.
Many people are left in the streets. It is absolutely necessary to do something.
All right, so we're going to do a project here, and actually, before we do any of that, let's go to research. We're going to click on matter science, industry, and aeronautics. So that's going to cost us 8.9 billion. But the reason I'm doing that is I want to hurry up and unlock the Hyperloop technology. So that's going to help our economy. Then education, and do literacy aids and student accommodation. So let's look at the budget here. Our public debt is 19 trillion. So
The bill
let's
has
see what
been
we can do
voted
to
on
get that
and
down.
the law has been passed.
The vote was held and the reform was adopted.
Your commitment.
I think you're doing a good job.
Okay.
And you're hardworking.
Let's do a meeting with her to bump up our popularity.
I think you're doing a good.
So let's look at the finance. All right, so our growth is going down. So let's go to industry. All right, and let's privatize the auto industry. So we're getting 114 billion from that. And we're going to invest about 25, no. We're going to invest 15 billion into the auto industry. And fuel cell batteries. Let's see, what else do we need? So we're going to reduce the price of pharmaceuticals. Going to reduce that by 3%. That should help with purchasing power. And farming. So let's go with cereal, and we're going to exonerate cereal.
The bill has been voted on, but unfortunately, the law has not been passed.
Right. And let's go to housing. Let's rehabilitate about 100,000 homes. Be done in less than a month. And transportation. Let's invest about 4.5 billion in road maintenance.
One week before the beginning of
I'd be happy to. That's really kind of you.
Alright.
Okay,
Can we encourage her to join our party?
I'm sorry, but we still disagree on. Okay,
Alright, so she's gonna speak for us, and let's pay her a
Yes.
compliment and end that meeting. So with California, there's no highways linking these other cities. So that's what we're going to do as part of our infrastructure plan. Go from Los Angeles to Long Beach. Then from Long Beach to Santa Ana. And from Santa Ana to Huntington Beach.
I'd like to congratulate you in person for your popularity. The way the country trusts you moves me.
Alright, so that should help with growth and tourism. And when we get the Hyperloop, we're gonna do one from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. So the other area we're gonna do is instead of doing highway, let's do a high-speed rail. That's going to be too expensive. Let's go with the main highway then. Yeah, that's a lot better. And then from Arlington to Dallas. Then from Dallas to Plano.
As we do at the end of every year, we have begun full-scale military exercises. In view of today's configurations of conflict, which are most often lightning wars on land, this time we are emphasizing tactical combat, especially the coordination of our squad units and area-based bombing from our destroyers. Our means of defense are also very powerful. We can rely on our anti-missile silos for territorial defense, and on our units with anti-aircraft missiles, batteries, carriers, and cruisers. Regarding very long-range attacks, besides our various mobile launchers, our most effective weapons of deterrence remain our missile launcher silos, which were designed to resist nuclear attacks. And there you are. The Army is well prepared to confront any invasive threats or to make plans in international theaters of operation.
All right, then. Attention to literacy. Okay, we've addressed that somewhat. All right, let's see, what else do we want to do here? All right, now all of this time I've never looked at unemployment, so let's take a look at that. So it went down a little bit, so we're going to remove 1 star from employment agency and checks on unemployed, which is going to save us about $11 billion.
Your conservative management combined with growth prospects reflect a stability that gives us confidence in your solvency and in your leadership. We trust you. Let me although your economy.
And then let's not.
Okay, biodegradable plastic. Yes, we're going to patent that.
You were elected thanks to your speeches, but only action will keep you in power.
All right, so let's look at our growth. It's starting to go up a little bit. Don't want to rush things and have it go up too quickly. So we managed to shave off about 700 billion off our budget deficit, so that's good. Let's look at currency and our inflation. So we want to encourage inflation to go down, so I'm going to raise that to 0.75%.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
The vote was held and the reform was adopted.
Okay, and research. All right, so let's go to industry again. We have biotechnology. So let's invest 500 million. So electrical components. Okay, rare earth oxides. And invest 500 million in that. And synthetic fibers. Gonna do about 500 million. So that only went up a little bit, but that should help our industry.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
Alright. So we're gonna go ahead and accept that.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
Alright, now let's go to Alright, now let's go to diplomacy. Let's go to AIDS. So it's ridiculous that we're giving $6 billion to Syria. So we're gonna take that away. Afghanistan. We'll leave that, but we're gonna pull our soldiers out of Afghanistan. So we're gonna recall our troops, all 14,000, and we're gonna bring them back within 4 months. So the RFID chip, we're not the first, so we're just gonna go ahead and patent that. And well, you're gonna have to get over that. We're not supporting Syria at all.
Your conservative management combined with growth prospects reflect a stability that gives us confidence in your solvency and in your leadership. We trust you.
Okay, so our top agent's in China now. So let's just take a look at everything. Alright, so our growth went back down again. But let's look at our debt. And our public debt went back up. So, alright, St. Vincent. Let's give them about 10 billion. I mean, 10 million. And Eritrea, we're not going to give them anything. Let's let a week pass by and see what goes on there. So Taiwan, we'll go ahead and congratulate.
There's nothing to say.
And we'll finish out a couple more days. Okay, so Slovenia wants to meet with us.
Incredible! The first.
Alright, now let's check. Alright, so our growth has gone down. Our inflation's going down too, so that's a good thing. debt. So we're bringing in 35 billion as a surplus. So the next episode, we're going to negotiate our interest rate with probably Switzerland, Russia, and India. Our debt with other countries is down to 0, so that should help us pay off everything. And so that's going to be it for this first episode of Trump's Agenda. And please subscribe, hit the like, and click on the bell so you can be notified of future videos. And I will see you soon.